Yes, hello and welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. I'm of course Mr. Francy, and I'm truly honored that you've once again chosen to join me today as we look at what's been happening in the second week of the month of October, from the 8th to the 14th. Wow. So there's been a lot of different things that have been going on for me. So I guess we'll start with the personal life update. I end up getting my results for my latest bloods, and I asked my doctor to send me a copy so that I could see it for myself, and things aren't looking good. So yeah, I've kind of been struggling with whether or not to actually discuss this here, but, if it helps even just one person to know you're not alone, I'm in the same boat as you and we'll get through this, then, I might as well. So there's just a couple of things I wanted to discuss with you all with regards to my blood test results, so I've kind of pulled them up here so we can talk about them in a little bit more detail. But for those of you who are new, I had my first blood test in a very long time, just for a part of a physical, in June, and it did not show good results. So 3 months later, I got another blood test, and the results seemed to have worsened. Yeah. So to give you a bit of an idea, first of all, we have what's called the urea, U-R-E-A. The urea apparently connects to, the liver side of your body, and the medium is meant to be between 3.2 and 8.2, and mine is at 2.9. So it's on the low side of things. Then we have the ALK phosphatase, PHOSPHATASE. Oh, no, that one's fine. Sorry, the gamma. The gamma GT, is high. It's meant to be, less than 51, and both in, June as well as in September, I tested at 56, so it is high. And then we have the ALT, which is meant to be less than 35, and mine is at 57. So that's not good. Then we have my active vitamin B12. So I was on B12 injections. I stopped taking them. I'm now going back onto them. So that should be greater than 90. The active vitamin B12 is meant to be greater than 90. Mine is 27. So it's incredibly low. Then we have, in the iron section for ferritin, in June, so it's meant to be between 30 and 300. In June, it was 22. In September, it was 14. So, incredibly low. Because, and I'm literally laughing because you gotta laugh. If you don't, you're gonna cry, right? I have now, owing to this, been given some advice. I've also been placed onto a waiting list at my local hospital where I am going to be receiving iron infusions. The reason I'm on the waiting list is because of costing. Going on the waiting list at my hospital, once I'm off that waiting list and having the iron infusion, it's going to be absolutely free, where if I did it another way, I would have to pay for it. So I appreciate the wait, and it might take a couple of months. So at the moment, I'm on Spartoon. I spoke about it recently. There it is. So basically, it is a liquid form of iron. You just basically rip open the pack and down it. And I have 2 of these every day. And hope that... That's literally the box. Hope that these will help, but... we'll see how we go. But yeah, as I said, I need to pick up my next prescription for my B12 injections and start taking them again once a month, and we'll be getting back onto that. So, yeah, so that's fun. I mean, honestly, I'd rather everything just kind of hit me now. For those of you who are new to the channel, hello and welcome. Yeah, so I'm in an in-between phase of my life, an in-between era, if you will. I'm going through very dramatic dental surgery where, owing to a rare tooth condition that I was born with, a genetic tooth disorder known as ameliogenesis imperfecta, I have had all of my teeth removed, and I am going to have dentures added to the top and bottom row, and I'm now in the middle of that situation where it's like all the teeth are out, and now we're waiting to get the dentures put in. And then, this B12 and, iron and liver situation is all just coming up. And I was speaking to Mama Francy, my mum, yesterday. I said to her, honestly, Mum, I much rather this happen now than happen after my teeth are in. Because once my teeth are in, I feel like it's, Mr. Francy 10.0 and, life begins anew. So I rather it just all pile up now and just deal with it. Well, karma is on me because I woke up this morning, my lower back was in so much pain. I think I slept horribly or something, and it took me forever to just get up out of bed, and moving was really hard to do. I ended up taking some pain meds. It takes me a lot to take pain medication. Yeah, that's just how it is with me. I just keep thinking it's going to be okay, but seriously, I would not have been able to do this video had I not taken some pain meds. So I took some pain meds, and I don't know what will be the next thing that will pile on. Time will tell. But the one thing that is getting me through this in-between time where I'm, waiting for the dentures and going through the iron deficiencies and the liver issues and whatever else is going on is my reading. I normally split up my weekly vlogs into personal life update, which we have gone through now, as well as a watching update, what have I been watching currently, and then a reading update. But as far as watching, I can gloss over that really quickly. I was very consistent up until my most recent vlog, this 1st to the 7th of October. Wow, where am I? October. Because I was watching Elite from Netflix, and I was absolutely loving it. But then, as of the 8th, I have been watching random things here and there and not really settling on anything. I've been watching some RuPaul's Drag Race, which is like nothing new because I don't think there is anything new happening at the moment, but like older seasons. I have been rewatching some of The Traders. What else have I been watching? Some of that Mom show. I forget the characters' names, but we have the mum and the daughter, and they're both in Alcoholics Anonymous. It's a comedy show. So I do like that show. I was watching a movie with Jake Gyllenhaal recently, where he is in a call center, emergency department call center. I think it's called The Call or something like that. Really, really good. And it reminded me of another movie that's very similar, set in an emergency call center that stars Halle Berry. So I watched that one after it. And, I almost was getting into this emergency call center theme mode, but couldn't find what I wanted. So if you know of a show that is set in an emergency call center and only shows the call center itself, it doesn't actually go outside of the call center, let me know, because I probably would really enjoy watching that. But, also been watching some random episodes of Simpsons, like as in past episodes. So I'm all over the place when it comes to reading. Wow. I'm all over the place when it comes to watching, but now let's talk about reading. Grab yourself something nice to eat, something good to drink, and when we return, we're going to talk about what I've been reading for the second week of October 2025. And grab your sparkles. Woo! Okay, so for those of you who were not aware, I was on a cozy mystery embargo kick where all I read was cozy mysteries, and that went from February of 2025 all the way up until the end of September 2025, and then starting this month in October, I've decided to remix up my genres again, and I'm having an amazing time doing so. So the first book that I read in the second week of October is actually book number 2 in a series that I reread book 1 of in week 1. And that is book number 2 in the Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac series by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti, Savage Fae, with the hunk on the cover. Golly, there's always a moment where I forget to mute the laptop because of Discord. I'm so sorry. But with the hunk on the cover, I have been having this book sitting outwards. Where was it? It was on my shelf, and it was, basically there. Sitting outwards and just making me happy looking at the cover. Because in times like these, with everything that I'm going through, anything that's gonna make me happy, I'm gonna go with. And I just, there's a hunk on the cover, woo! Anyway, I love Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti, and I know that there are people out there who have their issues with these two authors, and all of the Fae-themed series from different authors that have come up since then. And, I am not here to provide a rebuttal. I'm not even here really to entertain that discussion. All I am here to say is that with everything I'm going through, if I pick up a book or a series that I'm enjoying, I'd be crazy to stop reading that series. If it's bringing me joy, I'm going to read it and I'm not going to apologize for it. And this series, not only this one, but also the Zodiac Academy series, which I've also read, they both brought me a whole lot of joy. So would I say that Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti's series of what I've read so far are the best writing that you'll ever see, and they are, they expose all these topics that are going to make you think and all those sorts of things? No, it's not, but that they're not literary fiction, so I don't expect that to be the case. They're just fun, romance and fantasy type books. And what can I say? I absolutely love them, and expect to see more of Peckham and Valenti as the year goes on, because I need more of their works. Caroline Peckham, Susan Valenti, they are sisters that put a smile on my face. So thank you very much. In these dark times that I'm going through, it means a lot to read something that I'm not only interested in, but that makes me smile, that is really enjoyable for me. So having a lot of fun with it at the moment. So in this series as a whole, we follow 6 perspectives. Normally, I'm not a fan of multi-perspective books that deal with more than 3 characters, but in this series, I'm more than good with it. So we follow Elise, arguably the MC, a Fae vampire, the 4 kings of the school, Gabriel, a Fae harpy, Ryder, a Fae basilisk and leader of the Lunar Brotherhood, Leon, a Fae lion, Dante, a Fae dragon, and the leader of the Oscura clan. We also follow Gareth, Elise's brother, who even at the beginning of book 1, so it's not a spoiler, is presently dead. We follow Gareth's past when we get to his section. Now, in this book, there's more to Gareth's murder than Elise realized. There are shadows in the hall and mysteries lurking. Whoever killed Gareth is covering their tracks well. Now Elise is walking a dangerous line between getting close to the 4 kings for information and succumbing to her desires. She shouldn't trust anyone. She shouldn't let her guard down. But when Elise starts to break her own rules, will she wind up falling for her brother's killers? So, killer, that's the whole point. We're trying to work out who killed Garrett. I absolutely love it. I don't think I need to say any more other than that. There are books out there that are problematic. There are authors out there that are problematic. I don't know if this series and these authors are actually seen as problematic, but I feel like people are readers are kind of getting to the point where they're saying no more Fae. I'm kind of the opposite. I'm one of the readers that's saying, I want more Fae. Like, just keep releasing Fae books because they're making me happy. And that's really all it's about at the end of the day, isn't it? As long as we read books that works for us, that should be what the goal is. And my goodness, do I love these books so much. So, I am just going to loudly and proudly say I love these books, and I can't wait to keep reading more in this series. And when this series is done, start the next series I'm reading of Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti's, and when that's done, the next one, and the next one, and the next one, because they just make me so incredibly happy. And shout out to Hunker Spunk on the cover, who also makes me happy. I gave this book 5 stars. So the next book that I picked up was book number 2 in the Akota, A Court of Thorn and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas, which is called A Court of Mist and Fury. And yes, it's another Fae series. And yes, again, I don't apologize for reading it because I'm really enjoying it. What can I say? Oh my goodness. Okay. In book number 1, a dear friend of mine explains book number 1 in a premise by saying that it's like Beauty and the Beast, and very much reminds her of that. And I totally get where that is coming from. In book 1 of this series, we follow a human whose name is Feyre, whose family is so incredibly poor that she has to go out and hunt and kill animals so that they can eat. And she ends up killing a wolf, but it turns out that there's more to the wolf than initially met the eye. The wolf was actually a Fae, and he was working for one of the High Lords in the Fae world. This High Lord named Tamlin ends up visiting Feyre's family, and understandably is very upset that the person who was working for him, Feyre, has killed, and now Feyre has to pay a debt because a long time ago, humans and Faes both agreed that if a human kills a Fae for no good reason, then the Fae has the right to do whatever they're going to do with the human. And in this case, Tamlin just says that he wants her to live in the Fae world. So it could have been so much worse. But anyway, so she ends up going with him, and yeah, it very much is like a Beauty and the Beast retelling in a Fae world, and I really enjoyed it. The writing was really, really beautiful. I was looking forward to continuing on my read of this series by picking up book number 2. And very early on in book number 2, I started realizing that this book was not going to be doing the same thing that book 1 did. Boy, has Feyre grown. And it does make sense because she goes through a lot in book 1. The premise I gave you is really the very beginning of a very long book. So in book number 2, I thought maybe we'll have a similar situation, but no, not at all. There was a ton of world building that I experienced in book number 2. So there are many different courts in this world. So there is the summer court, the winter court, the fall court, the spring court, the day court, the night court, the nightmare court, the dawn court. There's many different courts, and every court has its own High Fae Lord and its own, I guess, rules of, like, law as far as the world building is concerned, but also rules and laws that the High Lords have in these courts. So in book 1, Tamlin, who is the Fae that has Feyre go and live in the Fae world, he is the High Lord of the Spring Court. So for a lot of book 1, we're in the Spring Court and experiencing that. In this book, Feyre goes to another court, the Night Court. And I really appreciated seeing her at the Night Court and all the experiences that came with that as well. There are a lot of things I would love to say, but they would be a spoiler, so I won't bring them up here. But really, really enjoying my time with this series, and yeah, I think I'm gonna fly through this series just like the Ruthless Boys series, and we'll probably get onto Throne of Glass next year. All I'm gonna say is this: I picked up House of Earth and Blood, book number 1 in the Crescent Moon series by Sarah J. Maas a couple of years ago, and I really did not like that book. I made it 40% of the way through. It was extremely long, so I probably got about 300 pages or so in, and then DNF'd it because I just wasn't enjoying it. I should have been picking up these books. This series so far has just been absolutely amazing. For the second book in a row, 5 stars from me, and I will definitely be continuing on very, very soon. So the next book that I picked up, so far at this point I have read 4 fantasies and 1 memoir, so I was going to read another memoir, and I did. The next book that I read was this book, Nice Girls Don't Win, How I Burned It All Down to Claim My Power by Parvati Shallow. This is an adult memoir, and I gave this memoir 3 stars, but let me unpack why, because I think if you had already planned on reading this book, or if you didn't know the Parvati Shallow wrote a memoir, but now you do and you want to pick it up, I'm not at all trying to discourage you from reading it, and you may give the book a higher rating than I did. In any case, in this memoir, Parvati Shallow, who is very well known, by the way, for playing on the reality TV show Survivor. She started off in Survivor Cook Islands, which is a very early on episode. She then played in Survivor Micronesia. She then played in Survivor Heroes vs. Villains. She then played on Survivor Winners at War, and most recently, she also played on Survivor Australia vs. the World. She's also been on The Traders, and she was also on a season of Deal or No Deal Island. So Parvati is very well known in the reality TV circles, and in Survivor in particular, she's known to be a mastermind strategist. Now, in this memoir, Parvati Shallow discusses select memories from birth in an ashram to growing up, being on Survivor multiple times, giving birth, and being on The Traders, with a deep-rooted focus on state of being. So to my thoughts, I can't say this memoir was bad, because it wasn't. However, I came in with some things I wanted to get out of the memoir, and I'm leaving it still wanting those things. Knowing Parvati since her first time on Survivor Cook Islands, I was intrigued to read about her discussing her experiences on the show. Likewise with The Traders. However, once Survivor Cook Islands came up, it became apparent that this was not what I was getting. I think Parvati mentioned 2 memories from Cook Islands, but it was more focused on her essay topic. I say essay topic because the book read more like an essay. Her intro discussed fight, flight, fawning, etc. And the book as a whole seemed to read more as, I experienced this, which in turn had me reacting like this, rather than a detailed discussion of what she went through externally. As a mastermind strategist on Survivor, I was really hoping she would cite examples of specific strategies she used on the show, what sparked that type of strategy, and so on. Instead, the memoir was more of a, here's the experience, but more importantly, internally I was ... kind of experience. Again, and I cannot say this enough, the memoir is not inherently bad, not at all. It just wasn't what I wanted from the experience. So all in all, it was a good read, and I did give it 3 stars. I just wish that it had gone a lot more in depth into the Survivor side of things and the Trader side of things, and it didn't. So now moving on to what I'm currently reading, and that is this book, The School of Wicked Witches by Will Taylor. This is a middle grade fantasy book. I am not that far in. I am there. I'm up to chapter 5, page 34, but it's been a really solid start. We're following this girl. What is her name again? Ava. Ava Heartstraw. Sorry. I'm listening to the audiobook, and in the first chapter there's a character who is like, Ava Heartstraw! And it just reminds me of that Disney film that I love so much, The Aristocrats, where, what's her name, Marie, the kitten, she's like, I'm ready, my straw! Anyway, not the point of this book at all. So Ava is a girl who lives with her family in the desert area of this world. It's set in Oz, which very much reminds me of The Wizard of Oz. And when you look here at like the castles and stuff, and these are like bricky roads that are yellow. So it very much reminds me of the Wizard of Oz world. But still, it's still enchanting. So she grew up in a desert area with her family. They're not very well off, but she one day discovered that she had magical abilities. Any child in the area of Oz, once it's detected that they have magical abilities, a bird visits them and basically tells them they have to go to school to learn their abilities, and that's just the way it is. So no one really gets away with having magic. They have to go to school. So she goes to the school and there's a test that everyone is given before they can even, sit down and have their first meal at school, which is they have to show their magical ability. Everyone else shows their ability, whether they're nervous or not, they're totally fine, they get to sit down. But then when Ava gets up to show her ability, which is to draw in water from objects, she does this, and having been mocked and teased earlier by this bullying mean girl, Ava is very motivated to show off as much as she can. So she closes her eyes and she's like, okay, I'm going to do this really big spell right now. And what she doesn't see is that the spell is incredibly evil. So it just creates all these like nightmare things that happen. And the headmistress of the school is like, Ava Hot Straw! You are evil! And apparently the rule is that if you are evil, you need to go to the school, or you're not evil, but you're wicked. Same thing, evil, but you are wicked! I have no choice, she said. Ava Hot Straw, I have no choice but to say that your magic is wicked. It's very dramatic. So Ava is sent off to this school because apparently if your magical ability is wicked, you are given a punishment in Oz where you need to go and serve time at a totally different school to not be wicked anymore, oh gosh, what is that word? I can't think of the word, doesn't matter, but basically, to make yourself good again. So anyway, that's all that has happened so far. Ava has just arrived at the School for Wicked Witches, and I cannot wait to continue reading on with this series. This was recommended to me by my, not recommended to me, but this is a book that was read by my dear friend Ducky over on my Discord server, and it just looked really, really, really interesting. I love magical books that feature schools, whether it's fantasy or paranormal, middle grade, YA, adult. If it is a fantasy or a paranormal that has a school where you're learning, that's my thing. I didn't know about this. I'm glad I found it and can't wait to keep on reading it. Once that's done, I'm getting into my horror books. I only have 2 horror books that I'm reading. The first of which is this one, Child of Divorce by Aaron Beauregard. This is book number 2 in the Playground series. I did not know Playground was going to become a series. I thought it was just a standalone. I loved book number 1. It is not going to be for everyone, so please, I won't spoil it here. All I'll say is, please read the trigger warnings before you jump into this one. It is an adult horror for a reason, and if that's not enough, and, you don't want to read the trigger warnings and you want to give this one a go, please definitely read the trigger warnings for this one that I'm picking up next, Angel of Vengeance, which revolves around a guy who is basically claiming himself to be some angel of vengeance, getting vengeance on people in all sorts of torturous ways. It is known as the most grotesque horror that is out there. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I will tell you this: if you don't like the Saw movies, if they freak you out, do not read this book, because it very much to me reads like Saw in so many ways. So if that is something you love, pick up the book. If that's something you don't like or it scares you, please do not pick this up. But I think I'm like a third of the way through this book. I just don't have a bookmark in it at the moment, but I think I'm about a third of the way in this book so far, and so far it's so good. So yeah, that's the plan. School of Wicked Witches, Child of Divorce, Angel of Vengeance. When that is done, I'm going to get back onto some cozies. So, what have you been reading lately? Let me know in the comment section below. But in the meantime, that is where I am going to leave it. Letting you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind, love one another, and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. Yeah! And until next time, happy reading. Bye, everyone!